Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast, where I'm on a mission to help you develop a minimalist Zettelkasten in the fewest possible steps to give you all the power and functioning of a Zettelkasten so you can experience it for yourself. Well, today we're going to take some time to review the first 3 steps because we've come a long way and we need to celebrate where we've gotten, and then we need to reinforce what we've learned so far and build up a collection of those main cards so that we can take the next step, which will be numbering those cards and placing them into our main box. But first, let's take the opportunity to look back and see how far we've come and realize how much we've really accomplished already, and that all-important review and practice. See you over there, the down-facing camera. Okay, we've accomplished an awful lot already, and I want to begin in this down-facing camera section with a quick review of what we've covered already, because it's pretty amazing, and you have already conquered 2 of the most important types of cards that you will find in your Zettelkasten. We began with the bib card, learned how to create it, and we filed it in the bib box. Then we learned how to create a main card, and we filed it in the main box. Well, what I'm going to do today, by way of review, is I'm going to introduce a checklist for each type of card. This is how we made each type of card. For on the bib card, we began with the book's title. Then we added the author, we added our purpose, and we gave the bib card a nickname. The other thing we did that I didn't log on this because it changes from card to card is we gave it a card number so that when we went on multiple cards for the same book, we would be able to tell them apart. On the back side, we had a note from the book, including its page number, thought or idea, and then another note, page number, thought or idea, and so forth. And here's how that turned out. A page number, a thought or idea, page number, thought or idea, and so forth. When it came time to make our main card, we began with a thought or idea from the book, and there, as you may remember, we decided to leave the factoids behind on the bib card. We can get back to them very quickly. We decided to leave behind pretty quotes that sound nice but don't really tell us anything. We just went for the key thoughts or ideas that would contribute to our understanding, our recollection of the topic, and our ability to speak intelligently on the topic. Then we added our own thought or idea. This was a very important part to relate ourselves into the card because we'll remember it better and we'll activate our full brain by adding our own thoughts and ideas to what we learned from the book. Then we decided it was important to include the nickname of the book and the page number of the book where we got the idea to our main card. And finally, we put the very, very important tagline at the top of the card. In this example, we used, "Strive for ideals, don't measure by them." And what we wanted to note that the tagline should have a full thought. You should be able to walk up to people in a conversational group and say it without everybody staring at you looking weird. Let me give you an example from my card. If people were in a group talking about a lecture that our author had just given, and they were talking about what did they learn from the lecture, you could easily say, well, I learned that it's important to strive for ideals, but not to measure by them. And that would make good sense. If, however, I had just used a title for the card, Strive for Ideals, you couldn't walk up to a group of people having a conversation and say, strive for ideals. Well, I guess you could because it's kind of a command, but people would stare at you a little bit. And you certainly couldn't just say, the role of ideals. That's not a conversation, but it is a title. So we want that in the tagline, we have the very important job of making sure it's conversational. And that is how we construct a main card. So I want you to take a moment and celebrate how far you've come. You've started your bib box. You've started your main box. And you know how to make each type of card. So we're going to practice by making another main card for our main box from the same book that you started with. I'm going to show you another example using the book I was working on, The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan. So I'm going to be returning to my bib cards, and I'm going to be turning them over and picking another idea from these cards to put onto a new card for my main box. Let's do that. Okay, taking out my main card checklist, the first thing I need to do is to go over my bib card and decide what is a big important idea that I want to bring over to my new main card. So I'm looking through my next bib card and I see a cute quote, "Happiness is where you start, not where you finish." Possibly. It seems like it might be one of those pretty quotes that doesn't say a whole lot. But what if I read on? Positive emotions are the starting point of learning, growth, and high performance. And now there's a study that's cited by Dr. Barbara L. Fredrickson. And then there's a follow-on study by G. Park that relates to it, that the best economic decisions are made in a state of gratitude. Okay, I'm going to combine these two ideas because I think it's a very important place. If I take, of all three of these, I think the one that I'm going to capture from my main card is the idea that positive emotions are the starting point of learning, growth, and high performance. And I might even make a note that studies have shown that positive emotions are the starting point of learning, growth, and high performance. I won't bring the studies over to my main card, but I will reference this bib card so that I can get back to them if I need them. So here's the starting point of my card. I'm going to bring over the thought or idea from the book. Okay, now my card has the idea from the book. I've completed the first item on my checklist. I left a factoid behind, I left a pretty quote behind, and I just put a key thought or idea from the book. Now, the next important thing that I must do is add my thought or reaction. I'm going to do it in a different color of ink so that you can clearly see which is which. Now I've added my thought, my reaction, and my reaction was, well, it sounds like positive emotions are a prerequisite. This begs a question. Where do these positive emotions come from? So now I've added my thought or reaction. It's time to supply the bib card nickname, and I'm going to include the book page. So here I've repeated the nickname that I've given to the book, and I've included the book page. Now, just as an aside, for those who are wondering, now, how does the book go from page 33 to page 5? Am I jumping around in the book? Well, this is just an aside so that I don't sidetrack you with that. This was one of those weird numbers, XXX, III. The 33 was in Roman numerals, and it was the introduction. Now I'm in the main part of the book. That's not important to the lesson. That's just to keep you from being distracted by saying, 33? 5? What's going on? Don't be distracted by that. Right. So now where am I in the process? I've got three things. I've got the thought or idea, my thought, and I've just added the bib card nickname. Now I need to add the all-important tagline at the top of the card. It's going to be a full thought. I could be able to walk up to someone in a conversation and say it, and people wouldn't just stare at me. Now I've added my tagline, positive emotions spark learning, growth, and high performance. So here is my completed main card. Let's do it again for practice, because this is something I'm going to want you to do. That first book that you took out and you made the bib card and you made one main card, okay, I'm going to want you to make 2 more from that book. I'm going to make 1 more to show you that if I'm willing to do it to teach you, then you need to be willing to do it to learn. So let's do 1 more. So here I am with my checklist again. I need a thought or idea from the book. And here's page 3 of my bib cards. And I've got a couple of notes. Confidence does not create success. Prior success creates confidence, which dispels negative emotions that destroy success. And I've got another note here. The future is not a reality, it's a projection. It can't be part of measurement. You can only measure progress backwards against the past. Now I'm looking at these two things and I'm thinking these are closely related ideas, but they're really two different ideas. So I would potentially want to actually capture both because I think they're both significant. So my choice in this case isn't to say, I'm going to leave one behind because it's a factoid, or leave one behind because it doesn't really say anything. They both say a lot. I'm just going to choose one to be my example. So I'm going to choose this first one to be the example. That confidence does not create success. Prior success creates confidence, which dispels negative emotions that destroy success. Okay, so now I have my thought or idea from the book transferred to my new main card that's under construction. Next, I need to add my thought or reaction. And the thought I chose to add is, this feels as though success is the natural state, and the problem is how to stop ourselves from blocking success. Back to my checklist. I've done this part. Now I have to bring over the bib card nickname, and of course I'm also going to include the page number. So here I've supplied the book's nickname and the page number. Page number I got right off of my bib card, and now the bib card nickname is there, and the last thing I need to do is supply the all-important active tagline. So the active line that I chose was to dispel negative emotions with past success. So now I've added two new main cards to the one that I made before, and for now we're just going to put them all into the main box. We'll get back to numbering in a future episode. What we're going to do next is do a review of the bib card checklist and create a new bib card for practice and to further our goals of creating our starting Zettelkasten. This time, for your book to choose for your second book, I'd like to make sure that one of the two books that you've got there includes the subject that's closest to your heart. And I would like it, if possible, if those two books are broadly different in terms of the range of books that you read. If you read from many different subjects, make your first book and your second book from two different subjects. If you only read from one subject, then make the two books two different divisions or two different subgroups of the one field you study. So my practice bib card is going to come from 12 Life Lessons from St. Thomas Aquinas by Kevin Vost. It's a book that I have not so much as cracked the cover of. It's a new acquisition for me. So we're going to follow our steps. What's our bib card checklist tell us? The bib card checklist tells us that we're going to put the book title on the card. And here's the book title. Next, we're going to add the book author. Here I've added the book author. Next, we're going to supply the purpose. I've added my purpose, and of course your purpose is going to be unique to you and to why you chose the book. It's going to guide your choice. So when we've almost completed the front of the bib card, next we have to add the bib card nickname. I'm going to build this with you so that I can review for you how I create the bib card nickname. Mine always start with R dot, which just means it's a reference. Then I'm going to choose the initials of the author, followed by an underscore. Then I'm going to pick some keywords from the title and use those to construct the nickname. You get to choose. I chose 12 LLTA. for my book's nickname. So now I've got r.kv_12LLTA, and that's going to be my book nickname. I have now followed all of the steps in this book for creating the front part of the bib card. I will follow this up by taking notes from the book, supplying the page number and the thought, the page number and the thought. To complete this practice session, I want you to complete your main cards for at least 3 of them from your first book, and I would like you to make at least 3 from your second book. So you'll make a bib card for your second book and make at least 3 main cards for your second book. There's a real important purpose to this. Then, after you've practiced that, I want you to go back around again. Pick a third book. Follow your bib card checklist to set it up. Read the book, create some notes, and make 3 main cards from the third book. At this point, you will have a set of 9 main cards that are as widely spaced in your reading as you tend to go. Yes, you may add a 4th or a 5th book if you wish and if your reading is that broad. But remember that you can always add those 4th or 5th books in the future, and as you read, there's no telling how many different areas that you're going to actually reach in your studies. So choose to do it or not do it. 3 is sufficient. 3 will get us to the point where we need to be with 3 main cards from 3 books as widely spaced in your reading as you tend to go. So because this is a big assignment, I'm going to give you a full week to complete this one. So see you back here in 1 week, and we will do the next step, which is going to be supplying numbers to our cards. And that's a big one. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed having this review of how to do a main card and a bib card, have your little checklists, and remember that what we're going to be trying to do this week is build up a collection of main cards from some diverse areas in your personal reading plan that will give us the ability to start placing the main cards into the Zettelkasten by way of numbering, that step that we haven't done yet, assigning numbers to the cards. So get ready for that. We'll have a week to do it, and I'd like to see you come back here with at least 9 cards, say 9 to 12 cards, something like that. And we will go forward with the next steps in creating a minimal Zettelkasten that really functions for you. See you later. Bye-bye.